So, I was imagining something like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Okay, then Firefox freezes again. That's so I was thinking something like a long time ago. I was they, them.
Robots in disguise.
Now, you might be wondering, what the fuck are you talking about, right? What do you mean you were they, them? Like you were trans before? No, I was not trans a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, right? I was they, them in this game here in Apex, what you're seeing here. It's like where you can change it. Right? I don't know if you can see like some of the names of like the people here, right? But this guy's name is Only Loot, No Shoot, Kick. You got some Antonio Della Pizza. Right? What the fuck? I'm just reading that now and there's Panda. But anyways, in Apex, there's this, I feel like, I don't want to say culture, but there's this thing where you just change your name because it's funny, right? And so I was they, them because I thought it was funny. And the thing is this, right? I thought it was funny because the era that I grew up in, I feel like a lot of that was relatively unknown to me, right? Even my family, right? My family's from basically the middle of nowhere. Both my mom and my dad's side are from the middle of nowhere. So a lot of the time I didn't know what the fuck any of this was, right? I mean, my mom is very old school, right? So she doesn't even believe in gay people. So how do you think, my household saw something like transgenderism? Or I don't even know if that's an ism, right? But that should tell you exactly the kind of person. I'm not gonna say who I am still, but I'm still like, I don't know that much about transgender stuff, right? I don't know that much about, I don't know, gender identity struggles. And so, when I grew up and I first heard of I guess I don't want to say a transgender, but maybe somebody who struggles with gender identity issues, right? I was kind of like, what the fuck is this? The way that I saw it was like, there are straight people, there are men, there are women, there are poor people, there are rich people, and then maybe there are gay people, and then like people of color, right? Because I'm a person of color. That's kind of like the groups, that's how I saw it as a kid, right? And just to kind of give you an example, right? The era that I grew up in, I mean, this was the type of shit I'd be watching, and I thought it was always so funny because that's just the media I consumed, right? This is just what I grew up in.
Excuse me, ma'am. No porn at the bar.
Oh, it's okay. I'm transgender.
Oh, I had no idea. Do whatever you want all the time.
Right? Like, I still find that funny, but at the time, that's like kind of the extent as to what I knew transgenderism to be. I keep saying transgenderism. I don't know if it's an ism. Right? When I was a kid, the way that I saw transgender stuff, transgender people, to me, it was almost like this make-believe concept, right? Just another thing for people to complain about. It's almost like I needed confirmation that it was this real thing, that somebody was really a trans person, right? What I knew being trans to be, right? Just Family Guy skits that made fun of it. And I didn't really know anything, I was just a fucking kid. And right. So when my name was they, them in Apex, the way that I saw it was more so like, it's just this silly little thing. Maybe some people will see my name and they'll laugh a bit and it'll just be this, silly goose type of thing. There's no harm behind it. It's nothing serious. It's just, we're all playing a game, right? And little did I know, I mean, while I may have thought it was silly, right? While my friend who I queued in with a lot may have thought it was silly and funny, other people did not think that. I wouldn't go in and be like, hey, I'm transgender and I fight for transgender rights, right? I'm a transgender champion. No, it was more so just, I would just hop in and not say anything. And more often than not, I was actually met with hostility. And to me, to be honest with you, I was kind of surprised at this. Yes, I know, transgender people get hate. Wow, so crazy. To me, again, I thought it was just this funny little thing, right? Because when I was younger, you saw the media that I grew up on, and I thought it was funny. I thought all of it was funny. It was just silly to me. So people would be so basically cruel, you know, where I thought it was funny initially. Man, people proved me wrong, right? The shit that people would say to me, right? They would be like, you know, oh my gosh, you know,
I think we should go right side.
this fool's trying to do this to kids or whatever the fuck. Like, look at this, yada, yada, yada. And obviously I'm going to be bleeping these out for the videos. Like, but it was so insane and so, to a certain extent, I guess, eye-opening, right? People, when they would die, the only thing they would do, they would just look at my screen and like hyper criticize every little thing that I would do, like to an extreme extent, to a point where it's like, you're not even making sense. You know what I mean? Like, you're just being critical to be critical because you seemingly don't like me. And the reason you don't seemingly like me is because my name is they, them. Even though I'm not coming into each lobby trying to preach or convince people of transgender issues, because at the time, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't fucking know shit about transgender shit. I didn't think about it. I just didn't give a fuck about it, right? I mean, it sounds crazy saying it in the video, but I just didn't give a fuck, right? I was in either or. I just thought it was some weird thing I didn't care about. That's how I saw it, right? Right, they'd immediately be so hostile. They'd call me all these crazy things just off rip, just because my name happened to be they, them. I wouldn't even say anything on the mic. They would die, hyper criticize my every little move. They would even try to sabotage me, even though we're on the same fucking team trying to rank up, right? That just changed my perspective a lot, you know? Right? And you might be asking yourself, well, why didn't you just switch your name? Why did you keep that name? Why did you continue doing that if, you know, if people didn't agree with it? Well, here's the thing, right? My name was this for a handful of months because through my right understanding and mind you, my perspective was that of this traditional lens. Well, if you're a fucking man, bro, who gives a fuck what people got to say? Like, I'm not going to let a couple of fucking stop me. You get what I'm saying? I'm saying a couple because, again, mind you, these are groups of 3, right? Teams of 3. It'll be like 20 groups of 3, I think, per game. And I didn't care what people had to say. I was just going to stick this through because, motherfucker, I'm a man, right? Like, I'm a bitch if I don't fucking, you know, if I don't stick to my guns and just rock they, them and continue to do my best. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of a bitch if I don't continue with my goals. And that's just how I saw it at the time, right? This was a handful of years ago. And
I almost died, dude. That's so embarrassing.
but the more that I faced this hostility, right? The more that I
If you queue like right there, you could queue into your queue.
went through this, right? The more that I went through this, the more that I faced this hostility, the more that I, you know, had basically my face pushed into this issue of transphobia, really. I started to think back as to, you know, as to when I was like younger. And it was little kid me. When I thought all this was just something for people to complain about. And I thought about the way that I thought then, right? The way that I had these very small boxes, these very small concept as to how people saw themselves. And all I needed was that confirmation. And I thought as a 24-year-old man, I was like, holy fuck. These motherfuckers are not making this shit up. You know, like I just thought to myself, like, began to realize, like, holy shit, right? Like, if you're willing to, now, I don't think it's bravery to put your pronouns in, like, let's say your bio or something, right? You see that on, like, Instagram profiles. And really, if you know fucking grammar, if you're educated, you know they're just fucking pronouns, bro. They, them is, like, literally how you refer to an unknown. Like, let's say a burglar breaks into your house and you don't know their sex. Well, how are you going to refer to them? See how I just did that? It's not these people just chose this. It's just pronouns. It just happens to be what, if you don't know the gender of somebody, that's kind of just how you refer to somebody. But it, you know, really kind of struck me like, oh, wow, you know, if someone is willing to basically have this struggle with their own gender, right? And then you're going to have people calling you a fucking this or a fucking whatever. nobody would ask for the confusion about their own gender and then face the hostility willingly. Well, there's some fucking rage baiters out there, right? Like there are some people that fucking do that type of shit, right? Like for content, live streamers, or whatever the case may be. But the way that, you know, somebody will put up with that type of thing despite having this identity struggle within themselves, and the insults that people used to describe me, even though I'm not a fucking transgender person, right? That you thought I was about to say some crazy shit there, right? But it's like there's a gap between the way that people perceive like gender, sex, and like sexual orientation. And obviously, you know, if you know about this, you know about it, right? But I'm just telling you what made me really realize this, because think about this, right? The shit that I remember what people would say to me, right? I remember it like it was just yesterday, because again, I ran this name for a couple of months, and I'm telling you, I would play this game a lot. I'm telling you, every single fucking day, basically would be the same shit over and over again. Now, did I mind it? Not really. Did I get tired of it? Eventually. But what I noticed, and if you play Apex and you've done a solo to a specific rank or whatever the case may be, maybe you've noticed this too, right? But something that, you know, as a solo for me, I would always get matched up with a duo, right? In this team of 3. It would never be me solo queuing with 2 other people also solo queuing. More often than not, it would be me solo queuing with a group of 2 people already queued in together. And they'd always look at each other and they'd always be like, right, let's say it's Chad and Tim. And Tim would be like, hey, Chad, check out this shit. And to me, that was always so interesting, right? Because obviously what's going on to a certain extent is a little bit of tribalism. But let's be honest, right? Because earlier I talked about the traditional view, the traditional perspective, the traditional lens, right? That's why I didn't give up the they, them. I'm a man, I'm not going to be a bitch, and I'm going to stick behind my decision. But whenever Chad and Tim, whoever was Chad and Tim on that day, would do this kind of tribalism, under this traditional lens, which I always thought was a little bit interesting, wasn't it kind of gay? Think about it. It'd always be 2 dudes, right? And the way that they would ostracize me is almost like they're pointing at me and they're like, look, this guy does not agree to our worldview. Look, my man, right? It was almost like a husband and wife, right? Right? Back me up, my man. Back me up, Chad. Walk up behind me and hold me by my hips and tell me I'm right. Now, do I believe that that's gay? No, I don't believe that that's gay. But under this traditional lens, right? The way that they are looking at me, right? As in a weird way, the way that I felt about things, the way that I don't know if you've ever heard the Transformers theme song. It kind of goes like, you know, Transformers, robots in disguise, right? And grew up with, you know, not even really believing this transgender thing, right? So to me, shit, that was funny. It was kind of like, you know, there's this Family Guy parody of it. I think it's Family Guy. I tried finding it, but I couldn't find it. And this Family Guy parody was like, it's gay guys in disguise. Now, if you don't know what a transvestite is, right, that's all terminology, but it's basically a cross-dresser. But under that lens, were these 2 dudes, hey, Chad, back me up,
And me as they, them. Aren't we just the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other?
But walk with me through this traditional lens, through this traditional perspective, just for a little bit, right? The way that I perceived, whatever the case may be, things like gender, masculinity, sex, sexual orientation, or whatever, right? I'm a boy. Well, at the time, you know, or no, not at the time, right? I'm a boy. I'm a man. I'm a male. And so the way that I saw it, the way that I defined masculinity, the way that I held that belief was through, I think, what a lot of other people also hold their beliefs in is through heroism, right? Or heroism, to be masculine. Oh, my handwriting is so tiny, bro. So I need to really zoom in this bitch. Masculinity equals hero, right? You got figures like Superman, you know, Spider-Man, a shredded Goku who never backs down from the challenge. You know, a Batman. You know, the way that I saw it was I'm going on my solo queue to Masters challenge. I chose this name that I thought to be silly. I'll be damned if I let anyone tell me what my name should or shouldn't be. Right? And obviously, yes, that was my name. But let's be honest, brother. It's America. Free speech. Well, God forbid I put they, them as my fucking name just because I think it's funny. And all these heroes, would they back down? Well, I mean, maybe they wouldn't rock the name they, them, right? They, them, man, right? Or something, right? But, right, imagine they, them in the Justice League or some shit. But would they gang up on somebody like that? I mean, would any of them even just be hostile like that to somebody just that they don't know just because of their name? I mean, isn't that kind of fucking stupid? And in a weird way, this whole silly fucking debacle kind of turned into this weird eye-opening thing for me. There's a struggle, a journey, an obstacle, a challenge. A man overcomes these things. But forget about the apex journey. Forget about all these things that I've mentioned, except for the heroism, right? Forget about the people calling me a bunch of fucking slurs and all this. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, right? I'm not gonna pretend to be a trans champion. To be honest with you, I still laugh at certain shit. I mean, my name was they, them in Apex, right? I thought that was silly. I thought it was funny. That's why I chose it. But the struggle of gender identity, I feel like is more of a human one than people really realize. And when we zoom out even more, when we zoom out to somebody like, let's say, I don't know, clavicular. Who is this guy really, right? He's some guy that, you know, his philosophy is that, you know, attraction is everything. And in this world, you know, everything is so vain. So you got to be pretty. But let's look at who he really is and the way that he really does things. Because if you know about this guy clavicular here, right? He does a lot of what? Gender affirming care. Now, I'm not trying to shove this ideology down your throat. No, it's just genuinely what it is, right? For example, this guy, because he wants to be attractive, takes steroids. Yes? Now you might be like, what do you mean? Yes, right. Well, the steroids are going to make him look more physically fit. Yeah? Now, if he looks more physically fit, what is that really, right? He looks more manly. Some people may argue here, well, no, he just looks fit for the huzz. Okay, well, he's not taking steroids to be more curvaceous, to be more round, to be more plump, to have big ass titties, right? No, he's taking them to look more physically fit as a man. And why is he doing that? Because maybe he feels like he doesn't already look that way. So in a weird way, is this not kind of that gender affirming care? Is this really not that identity? Well, maybe he already identifies himself as like a man, right? That's how he sees himself. But is this not kind of literally a gender identity struggle here? Even this theme about steroids, right? Like, let's look at this shit. Think about it, right? You want to be in good shape. That's a whole thing, right? I'm not saying everyone who goes to the fucking gym is trying to have gender identity crisis or whatever the fuck, right? But you go to the gym. You work out. You want to be physically fit. You want to feel good. Yeah, that's normal. I feel like it's not bad. Some people go there to also look aesthetically pleasing, right? If you're a man, there are some people out there who want to look big. Now, let's look at that word big. Why would somebody want to look big? I don't know. Maybe because it's tied to something like masculinity. Is it not? And if it's tied to something like masculinity, then aren't people who do steroids, right? Let's say those people have like a big bicep, right? Big old bicep, yeah? They want to increase that size of the bicep. They want to plump up, right? Is that to be physically fit anymore? Do you really have to take steroids to be fit? I mean, you know how many people are natty and are fit, bro? At this point, you're taking it to the next level. You're taking it to that clav route, right? That route of, well, you're trying to look more masculine, yeah? So you want your bicep to basically be even bigger, yeah? Even bigger bicep. So then what you do is you get, let's say like, right, you get your little steroids file, right? You get your little steroids file, and then you put something like a needle in your ass, a penetrative object to sauce up your butt. Isn't that gay? Under the traditional lens, of course. Because you want to be more manly? I mean, I like, you know what I'm saying? Like, whoa, like, when did these two become distinct? When did these two things become so different? Right? Because let's be honest, under that traditional view, do we not look at they, them as, you know, gay or whatever the case may be? But I mean, how is this also not kind of fucking gay? Am I wrong? I mean, there are people who go to the gym who work out and they do not put penetrative objects in their fucking butt. Right? Like, I mean, let's say you're a guy who's watching this. I don't know. Maybe it's a fucking girl, or maybe it's a they, them. I don't fucking know. Well, chances are you've probably seen this guy. More plates, more dates. Now, this is one of the funniest videos ever. I think it's just hilarious because, like, what the fuck is this, right? Now, he talks about a guy who took steroids. And what is that title? He took trend and became gay. Right? And you're asking, what the fuck? Maybe you're not asking that, but let's just watch this little segment here, okay? Gotta put that disclaimer in there also for me, right? Because I'm not trying to get cooked on this. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
What's up, guys? Derek, moreplates.com. Today we're going to be checking out this off-topic thread in the Steroids subreddit called "Why the fuck is trend turning me homosexual?" Substantiated_hatred posted this on Instagram, and you know, like obviously a thread like this is going to resurface and get attention. Here it is. So. Yeah, for this guy, he's on trend. It's bringing out his weird fetishes. He's craving sucking dick 24/7, but only
24/7, bro. What the fuck are we watching? What the fuck are we watching? Okay, you know, maybe that's normal, right? Maybe it's normal to be sauced up and it's not a problem. You know, maybe this is normal.
trannies. It's even making him want to get fucked in the ass. He's legitimately on Tinder about to get fucked by a crossdresser.
A gay guy in disguise?
What to do? Should he go through with it or just jack off instead?
Okay, bro. Okay. Now, do you maybe see what I'm trying to get at here? Do you maybe get what I'm trying to come across here? I mean, and what we've seen here is exactly why the transgender thing falls under that LGHD TV flag. Okay, no, but all jokes aside, no, actually, right? Do you get what I'm getting at here, right? On one hand, some people could see a they, them name, right? And think to themselves, wow, look at this.
Force them to drop.
But somebody who, I don't know, is maybe doing the exact same kind of or having that exact same gender identity struggle, or maybe wants a gender identity affirmation, isn't going to be seen that way. I mean, I'm not saying they should be seen as a and obviously I'm going to be censoring this word every single time. But what I'm saying is the two are a lot more like one another than different. Now, some people might be like, nah, there's no way, man, right? Because one is trying to change their sex and the other one isn't. I mean, I don't know, man. You saw that video there, right? That guy's whole sexual fucking orientation changed right there. I don't know, bro. I don't know about that one, right? And he's doing this, or that person on that Reddit thread is doing that. Because what? I don't know. Trying to get bigger, trying to feel more masculine. I'm assuming, right? I mean, what other reason would you want to get so big for? I mean, because let's be honest, right? To be on steroids, is that really healthy for you? How is that being physically fit? How does that feel good? If you want to be more manly, I mean, why don't you go to an MMA gym or a boxing gym or whatever the case may be, right? And if you look at a pro fighter, I mean, how many people are fucking juiced? Yeah, okay, you could argue something like jiu-jitsu scene is fucking juiced like crazy, right? But if you look at a lot of pro fighters, I mean, they're not fucking huge like that. I mean, right? Yes, to feel more masculine is also because a little bit of what? The perception of their own masculinity a little bit. Then that's okay, right? That's okay. Like, that's fine. Like, but I'm just saying, these things, right, are a lot more like one another than they are different, right? The whole clavicular thing of, I mean, this guy does steroids and he doesn't even fucking like really work out. And I think he literally said this, right? Oh, I'm not, it's more of a paraphrase here. I'm not really quoting him. He just does it to look good. And again, he's not taking steroids to look more curvaceous, right? To look more plump, to look more like a baddie. No. When we think about this traditional lens and kind of how, I don't know, things like gender identity is a thing and how it's not a thing, right? Because, I mean, shit, at one point I didn't really believe it was a thing either. Is it the craziest thing? Is it like a conspiracy? Is it something that the government made to put in the water to turn the frogs gay or whatever the fuck? Is it really like that? Right? Because in a weird way, shit where people try to be hyper masculine, right? Like, let's say you're putting steroids in your ass to get bigger, which in my opinion, I mean, why else are you doing this besides to be perceived as more masculine, right? To a certain extent. I mean, let's kind of keep it a buck here, right? Let's call a spade a spade. I don't know, under that traditional lens in which shit like that is valued. I mean, personally, I never saw Odysseus put fucking a tremboloni sandwich in his ass to defeat the fucking Cyclops when he landed on that island. Nah, he had to deal with what he was dealt with and he fucking found a way, right? Like, we go back to the heroism, right? Overcoming that obstacle with what you got, regardless of what it is. You either try or die trying, right? Or what is it? You either fail or die trying. Like, that's the masculinity concept. That's the shit that I grew up in. That's also the shit that I feel like a lot of people saw in media. That's how a lot of people grew up in. But under that same lens, I mean, isn't that the lens that people use to criticize something like gender identity struggles?
Oh, they're healing.
And when we look at kind of, you know, again, I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm not trying to be like, yes, trans people are real, even though, you know, they are. But like, let's also be honest, right? I'm also telling you from a perspective in which at one point I thought that shit was make-believe. How are gender identity struggles not all around us? And logically speaking, I mean, if it, you know, looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, that shit must be a duck, right? So, yes, they, them, duck, sure, right? But then how are we not going to look at some people who also deal with gender struggles, right? That's why they have gender affirming care, right? You go to Turkey, you get a botched hairline so you don't look, God, whoever the fuck, right? Bald as hell. Or you take steroids to look more like a man. I mean, how is that not...
There we go.
Kind of gay? No, okay, not kind of gay, but I mean like... Right? Like, how is that not kind of, you know, trans-like? After going through all this Apex shit, hearing what everyone had to say, and then seeing, let's say, somebody who takes steroids and goes to the gym and puts, you know, penetrative objects in their butt. I mean, they're very akin to one another, right? They're not the same, but they're definitely in the same ballpark. You know what I mean? They're different positions of the same sport. You get what I'm saying?
Fuck is that skin, bro?
You know, I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. I'm not trying to tell you to believe in gay people or trans people or whatever the fuck. Libtard bullshit, right? Really what I'm trying to point out here is more so this, I don't know if this is the right term for it, but it's almost like they're like the logical fallacies in judging people's behavior. Right? Ultimately, I feel like the gender identity struggle seems so foreign because a lot of things are not labeled as being under this umbrella term. It's more recognizable to place people in these boxes. However, all these other instances, right? A 0.1, a 0.2, a 0.3, a 0.7,
Between the binary of 0 and 1.
aren't actually recognized to be associated with someone who outwardly comes out and says, well, I'm not here or I'm not here, right? Someone trying to be someone who's a 0.7 who wants to be more like a 1 isn't seen as somebody who outwardly acknowledges that they don't fit in either 0 or a 1. Whatever the case may be, I mean, you kind of have to be honest, right? The gender identity struggle is something that, I mean, shit is more common than I think people really even recognize. You know, including myself, right? At one point, I didn't really recognize it as something kind of legitimate like that. Is it really that fucking crazy when there are people who do things akin to having a gender identity struggle, but it's just not labeled the same way, although it behaves kind of like the same thing, right? Like putting steroids in your butt. Now, obviously, you know, these are just silly examples and they're not. You could argue, oh, well, you know, steroids is actually healthy for you. I don't know how the fuck you would argue that, but I don't know. It's just food for thought. And hopefully, you know, I don't get fucking canceled for this shit. Right? Like if I don't get canceled for this type of video, maybe I'll get canceled for the next one. And then maybe if you just want to see a car crash, well, here it'll be on this channel. So hopefully I see you again next time. How much did you get off on? Anyways, peace.